Welcome back, Camily. Apologies for my voice. I'm just getting over the flu. It's been rough out here. Literally, right after we get all of my stuff unloaded into my house, I started to feel very fatigued and tired, and I thought it was just because I was exhausted from moving, and I was kind of beating myself up about it, but I was just getting sick, and now I know that. And then we were sick for a frickin' week. It was so awful. Both of the girls got sick as well. I'm just now starting to feel better as of yesterday, and the girls are still pretty sick. They're napping right now. So this video is the most I could manage to pull together this week, but I wanted to post something, and I actually got a lot of requests for this video. I recently posted a TikTok about all of the things that January Cameron would be very surprised to hear. Just all the things that happened in this last year, 2022. All things that I did not expect to happen whatsoever. And with all that has changed this year, I got a lot of questions and a lot of people recommending I do a life update / Q&A type of video. Just kind of going over some things you might have missed in this last year. And some of these things I haven't talked about on the internet at all. So let's get right into it. One thing that happened this year is that I took a huge step back from family vlogging. For years, I've been a part of the family vlogging community. That's what my channel was all about when I started it. But as time went on, I realized it was having some really negative effects on our family dynamic. And I really started to think about the long-term psychological effects that it would have on my daughters. I made a whole video going into all of that, so if you haven't seen that, check that out. But yeah, ultimately I decided to take a step back and kind of rebrand my channel as less of a family vlogging channel and more about me and my life. And since kind of denouncing that title of family vlogger, I've gotten some comments kind of calling me out, saying I'm a hypocrite because I acknowledged the harm that family vlogging could do, but I still post videos with my kids. Not every video has my kids in it, but they're in them. And I think a lot of people are failing to realize that it's not black or white. Not every vlogger who shows their kids is a family vlogger. To me, what it means to be a family vlogging channel is that it would be very out of the ordinary for you to post a video without the kids in it. Every video is centered around the kids, around their day, around what they're doing, around the family as a whole. And family vloggers will never miss an opportunity to film something if they think it'll get them views. There are many times in the last year where past Cameron would have not even second guessed, oh yeah, we're gonna film that, we're gonna post that. They're gonna love that video, they're gonna eat it up. We can't not film Christmas, it's Christmas. We owe this to the channel, they need to see it. It's our kids, it's their Christmas. We have to post this. Oh, Dee Dee's potty training, she's hitting a new milestone. Get out the camera. It doesn't go like that anymore. There's also lots of stuff in the past that was somewhat staged. That thing wouldn't have been happening if I wasn't gonna record it. We decided to do a certain craft that night because we needed something to film. Or we're gonna cook this nice healthy dinner because we're vlogging today. Only doing fun, exciting things when I knew I was gonna be vlogging. Now when I do fun and exciting things with my kids, the last thing I want to do is vlog. After so many years of being behind a camera for all of it, most of the times I don't want to vlog those moments. I just want to enjoy them. And that was one of the big things that I thought would really affect them psychologically, is when they put 2 and 2 together that, oh, we only do fun things when the camera is out. And that's not how it is anymore. So even though the kids are still in some of my videos, I still don't consider myself a family vlogger, at least not in the way that I was and not in the way that so many families are here on YouTube. As someone who's lived it, I can see it pretty clearly, what these families are doing. And I'll admit, like, it's wrong. It is not okay. And I am now someone who's actively speaking out against it. But I'll admit I'm a little hesitant to do so because, like I said, there's always those commenters. You still show your kids, what are you talking about? So yeah, I just wanted to kind of clear that up, what the difference is to me. I'm very cautious and intentional when I'm filming with my kids. And I'm no longer going through life thinking through the lens of, is this gonna be good content or not? I truly just live my life. And as I said, my girls are a part of that. Even in the videos that they are in, I feel like they're still not really about the kids most of the time. Honestly, I would like to have them on camera a little less than they have been lately. But honestly, I've just been so busy that I haven't had time to film when they're not around. As you know, I just moved, and the last several months have been so consumed with moving. And so the second someone else was watching them, I had a million things to do, and there's not much I could get done with them around other than film my videos. So to vlog on a day when I have them versus a day when they're not just worked out better for my schedule these last few months. So that way I could really use that time without them better. But still, it's just been a reflection of our normal day. And I leave a lot out that in the past I would have been really adamant about keeping in the vlog. We need to get this shot for the vlog. I was such a perfectionist when it came to continuity and like flow of the vlog. So I needed to have a clip that we were having breakfast and a clip in between breakfast and lunch. So that way time-wise it kind of made sense. And I could really make it seem like we were on this great schedule. And now I'm like, they don't need to know what we ate for breakfast. They don't even need to know that we had breakfast. Like, I don't need to say, yeah, we just had breakfast. Like, you know, I just say what's important and what I want to say. So yeah, I've just been doing what works for me and using my best judgment as their mother as to how to navigate this right now. But this channel is still very much my channel, and it's about me and does not revolve around them in the slightest. So still, I don't consider myself a family vlogger. With all that being said, I was recently on a documentary to talk about all of that and much more. The documentary was produced by Hulu, so that's where you're going to be able to watch it. I don't think it's coming out until the springtime. It was so amazing to get an opportunity to really speak up for these kids and these parents who are still in it, who are still in that mindset, just filming, and trying to capture every single moment that they think will be profitable. I think it's one thing to hear from people who have never been through it, who are telling you, hey, this is wrong, you should think about what you're doing and how this is gonna affect your kids, versus hearing it from someone who's been through it, who's been there, who understands how trapped you can feel in that. Especially in my situation, you know, I didn't even graduate high school. I was 16 when I started my channel. I had never even had a real job prior to that. It was really my first job. And I felt like I had no other option but to make these videos and to do them in the way that I knew how, the way that people were asking me to, the way that was gonna make money. At a certain point, you know, I knew it was wrong and I wanted to stop, but I felt like I couldn't. And so for these parents that are still in that, to hear from someone who's made changes, I really hope it'll make some kind of difference. So that's another awesome thing that happened this year. I'm super excited for you guys to see that. As I said earlier, I felt very trapped in family vlogging, being that I never graduated high school. I didn't really have any other path to go down as far as I could see it. But I'm finally starting to look into other career paths outside of social media. And I've been working towards this for a while this last year, just kind of really thinking about my options. And now I'm finally ready to start taking a step in another direction. I'm still gonna do YouTube, and as of right now, it is my only source of income, but I'm just really looking forward to YouTube being something that I fully just do for fun again, rather than something that's my job. Because I do really enjoy doing it. I just don't really enjoy all the pressure that comes with relying on it, especially when it comes to like, I have to post a video this week. I have my kids with me all week. I'd rather not film with them, but I have no other choice, you know? Sometimes my values don't align with reality and what's gonna have to happen in order for me to make rent. That's just where I'm at, and it's not a great place to be. And I really hope to not rely on it anymore. So, what other career paths am I looking at? I basically have 3 different directions that I'm looking to go, and I'm gonna kind of explore all of those this next year and just see what takes off. And maybe I'll do all of it, or maybe I'll do something completely different. But as you know, I want to be a published author. That's something I've been working towards, and I'm going to continue to work towards. The main thing I plan on doing to pull an income is doing freelance videography. I've learned a lot of camera skills through my time on YouTube, and I'm ready to use those skills for something outside of YouTube and to film something that's not me. And after doing the documentary and being on set and just being in that energy, I realized I really want to try acting again. I did child acting when I was younger, when I was about 10, and I had a few speaking roles, a few commercials, a few modeling gigs, and so I think I'm going to try and pursue that, you know, just kind of for fun, and we'll see where it goes. But I just love being on set, and long term, kind of past the freelance video stuff, I'd really love to have like a producer, director type of role on set. Towards the beginning of this year, I changed my pronouns to she, he, they, essentially all pronouns. It's not something I wanted to make a huge deal of. I just put it in my bio on TikTok to just kind of try it out. I was questioning my gender identity a lot and felt very uncomfortable being a woman. I hold a lot of masculine energy, and I always have. And in the last few years, I've really been forced to utilize that energy. Being a single parent, taking on more responsibility, really stepping up to the plate and doing things that just made me feel very masculine. I think that, along with coming out of this dynamic where I was seen as weak and less than, and being in this family structure where I was a wife and I was being abused, it really made me reject my femininity, that side of me, my womanness. And I grew to feel very uncomfortable with that. And that was also backed by years of internalized misogyny. Being brought up in a patriarchal society that teaches us that women are secondary to men. Living in a system where that's reinforced every day. And just being taught to hate women. All of us, men and women, are taught to hate women. So all of that just kind of piled on top of itself until I just really couldn't stand being in that role. And I was just angry, and I just kind of said, screw all of this. I wish gender didn't matter. I don't want it to matter. I don't want it to play such a central role in my life. I'm not gonna conform to this. You can call me whatever you want. At the time, I also identified as pansexual, so in my attraction to others, I didn't see gender. It didn't matter to me. Man, woman, non-binary, didn't matter. I just chose not to see gender for anyone else or for myself. And that's just where I was at with it. But I spent a lot of time figuring out my sexuality and my gender identity this last year. And I really healed so much of my internalized misogyny, the way I felt towards women. I definitely went through a phase where it was like, I don't want to be friends with girls. They're too much drama. Like, I just have guy friends. Not in a way that's like, you know, I was flirting with them, which a lot of people assume when someone kind of goes through that phase. But for me, it was like, I genuinely just want to be one of the boys. I want to be seen as one of them. I kind of put them on a pedestal. They're so cool. They're so much better than me, because that's what I've been taught my whole life. But once I was finally kind of accepted as one of the boys, and they let their guard down and they started just treating me like they treat each other, I was able to really hear the way they talk about women and the way they see things, their perception of the world around them. And it just really doesn't align with me. As much as I am a very masculine person, toxic masculinity is not something that I identify with. It was actually quite upsetting. And I really started to embrace my femininity, my womanhood, the things that made me feel like a woman. All those things that I was rejecting. I realized it's not because it doesn't fit with my identity, it's because I believed what society was telling me, that those things were bad. It took a lot of work to deconstruct all of that, but I've never felt more comfortable in my femininity, and even more so being masculine in my identity. I realized I don't have to go by he, him in order to embrace that masculine side of me. I definitely still feel more me when I'm masculine, and I'm really looking forward to embracing my masculine woman self. So with that being said, my pronouns are she, her. We figured it out. Default settings. With that being said, I started this year identifying as pansexual, and I made a coming out video. That's the first time that I really expressed any queerness to you guys. But I no longer identify with that. Sexuality is a fluid thing, and I believe that it can change over time. Once you discover more about yourself, certain things inside of you change. I no longer see gender as something that's completely irrelevant when it comes to dating. It is something that I see and that I consider. And I think experiencing kind of being in that guy friend group, I realized that it is something that I need to consider because we are different. Whether I want to see it or not, it's there and it matters to me. I still consider myself to be very open when it comes to who I date. I very much fall in love with someone's personality, and that's really important to me over their gender. But after dating men for all this time, the things that come up with dating men, I see come up again and again, and they're the same problems, and I'm just tired of the things that come along with dating men. I'm at a point where at the moment I'm no longer subjecting myself to that, and I've really taken time to reevaluate my attraction towards men in the first place. And again, it was something that was taught, that I've been conditioned to feel. It is the norm. It is what most little girls are told we should want, a husband. But every single one of my ex-boyfriends has been very feminine, which isn't a bad thing. I love feminine men, but I think it really speaks volumes. And the things about them that I had a hard time accepting were the very things that made them men. And so at this point, all signs are pointing to the fact that maybe I'm not meant to be with men. There are some, very few, but some men that I am physically attracted to. But after all the self-discovery I've done, after figuring out my own gender identity, what it means to me, and what I want from a long-lasting relationship, I'm just no longer romantically attracted to them. Nothing about dating a man sounds appealing to me. That part of me has just shut off, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna turn back on. And that's just where I'm at with it. I'm yet to be in a serious, long-term, legitimate relationship with a woman. And until that happens, I feel like, how can I really say that I'm a lesbian? But for now, I'm trying that label on. In general, though, I think I just identify as queer, which is an umbrella term for not straight, which is definitely true. I'm not straight. So I can confidently say that I'm queer, and I'm trying on the label of lesbian right now. Yeah, it's just really, really hard to see myself with a man at this point. I might date a few women and see how I feel about that, but right now I have no interest in dating another man. The last question I got is, am I going to restart my podcast? If you didn't know, me and my sister had a podcast called Sisters by Chance, and when she moved, we ended that podcast, and now that we live near each other again, we're thinking of starting it up. but it'll be very different. Back then, it was very planned out and scripted. We really put a lot of effort into like exactly what we wanted to say word for word before each episode. And some of my favorite episodes of ours are ones that are less scripted. If we were to start it again, it would definitely be much more PG-13, much more chill, just open, no plan really, just us getting on and chatting and talking. There's obviously going to be some structure, we're going to have topics and stuff, but I think it'd be really cool to do it differently this time. You're all caught up. That's pretty much all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, Camily.